Back in high school, the school beauty actually confessed to our boy Gu Chen, but he straight up rejected her in public. Patted her head. He told her she was just too small. He said he preferred them bigger, instantly making her cry. So what does he do? He pulls a bottle of sweet milk out of his bag and hands it to her. He told her drinking this would help her grow. Hearing that, the school beauty angrily pointed right at his face and yelled, "Gu Chen, you just wait! Just wait until I grow up and show you." Our guy just smiled and told her she was very welcome. Who would have thought? That same school beauty suddenly drops in as the new female CEO of his company. "Wake up, it is time to work!" Suddenly, a coworker shakes Gu Chen out of his sleep. He slowly opens his eyes, totally confused. He is actually sitting at his office desk. Wait, should he not be out at a business dinner? Then his eyes drift to the computer screen date. He freezes. It says 2024, but his mind was just in 2040. The realization hits him hard. He actually regressed back to his old job at an internet company. At this point, he is only 18 years old and just working here part-time. Looking back, he remembers he did not stay at this company for very long in his past life. He ended up quitting to start his own business, and thanks to his sheer grind and smarts, he made the Forbes list before 30, becoming a massive global tech tycoon similar to Bill Gates. But honestly, all that fame and wealth did not actually make him happy. He was working day and night, sleeping barely 3 hours a night, and completely destroying his health. He actually envied the regular 9-to-5 workers who got to go home to their families. Now that he has a second chance at life, he decides to just relax and live like a peaceful slacker. Honestly, this company's not even bad. Good benefits, stable pay, and zero pressure. They even provide free daily meals. It is the perfect place to just coast. With a smile, he decides to just focus on finishing his simple tasks for the day. But right then, his coworker leans over with a mischievous grin. "Hey, did you hear? A new female CEO is taking over the company today." Word is, she is a total ice queen. Now, today was originally the day he quit in his past life, so he never got to see her face. Staying today means he actually gets to witness her arrival. He shrugs it off. His main job is simply reviewing videos uploaded to the platform, checking to see if they violate any guidelines. Standard, easy stuff. He clicks through them with one hand, but an hour later, a stunning girl with a perfect figure walks through the door. Her sharp, cold eyes scan the entire office floor, though her youthful face still looks incredibly cute. Literally every single employee lifts their head to stare at the gorgeous new boss. Everyone except Gu Chen, who keeps his head down, completely focused on his own work. Naturally, her gaze is drawn to him, but the moment she catches a glimpse of his profile, those cold eyes instantly soften up, her long eyelashes blinking in pure disbelief. She looks incredibly dazed before she finally snaps back to reality. Feeling a burning gaze on his back, Gu Chen decides to turn around and check. When he sees her face, he completely freezes. And no, it is not because of her beauty. It is because he instantly recognizes the new CEO as none other than Liu Ruyan. Oh man, talk about instant karma. He is completely dumbfounded that his new boss is the girl he rejected. Now he is just praying she does not recognize him. Getting blacklisted by your new CEO is literally a nightmare. That would definitely end badly for him, but while Gu Chen is lost in thought, a deeply refreshing, sweet fragrance suddenly wafts right past his nose. But because he's reviewing videos so intently, he doesn't notice her passing by. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan stares at his back, a tiny smirk creeping onto her face. Let's see where you run this time, she thinks, heading to her office. Once inside, she flops onto the couch with a heavy, exhausted sigh. Man, being a CEO is exhausting, especially since she's only 18. She is basically running a company meant for a 40-year-old veteran. Relieved, she kicks off her high heels and secretly unwraps a sweet lollipop. Slipping it in her mouth like a kid, she remembers her high school days. Back then, she had a massive crush on a boy and spent all her time trying to figure out how to confess, even though his grades were bad. But man, he was incredibly handsome, especially on one bright morning. She saw the warm morning sunlight hit the side of his pale face. That breathtaking visual literally made her young heart skip a beat. In fact, that crazy crush motivated her to study even harder. She jumped from second place to first, but he still politely rejected her. Of course she knew he was just looking out for her, but now they have reunited. And it is in the most unexpected way possible, bringing back all her feelings. Her face flushes bright red just thinking about her old high school memories. Suddenly, her secretary walks in, forcing her to scramble and slip her heels on. She acts tough, but the secretary asks if President Liu is feeling okay. Is she sick? No, she is totally fine. Remember to knock next time, she says, before suddenly remembering something. She points her fair finger toward the glass doors and quietly asks the secretary about the new guy. Who is that guy working out there? The secretary looks over to check. Oh, that is Gu Chen, a newly hired video reviewer. He has only been here 2 weeks, but he is incredibly hardworking. The secretary sets down some heavy files containing the department report she wanted. These contain the latest updates from finance and operations. Now, normally she would review them, but ever since she saw Gu Chen's presence completely distracts her, so she barely spares them a glance. No need, she says. I want all of Gu Chen's files on my desk in 2 minutes. The secretary is absolutely stunned, like she just heard the craziest request ever. Meanwhile, outside the office, Gu Chen finishes up his morning work and stretches. Right as he yawns, the door to the president's office swings open. Out steps a gorgeous figure with incredibly long, stunning legs, rocking bright heels and a sleek, tailor-made business suit. Her perfect figure is easily the most beautiful sight in the entire building. Walking over to the dispenser, she carries a cute cartoon cup to get warm water. Everyone in the office is staring in absolute awe and confusion. They are wondering why the big boss is using the public water filter. Some whisper that her private one might be broken, but we all know what's up. Gu Chen watches her walk by, sweating a little bit inside. He is just hoping she does not recognize him from their high school days. He does not care, happily tapping away on his keyboard. But he misses how Liu Ruyan keeps watching him from the side. This moderation job is never boring with all the wild videos. Like this guy eating canned peaches on stream. He makes weird cutesy noises, leaving him totally disgusted. Deleting it instantly, he moves to a girl in black stockings. Backbends, clearly trying to push the platform boundaries. Thirst trap. And honestly, who wouldn't let it pass? Suddenly, a sweet, refreshing scent drifts up behind him. A beautiful girl rests her soft chin right on his shoulder. She parts her lips, blowing warm air onto him. You seem really focused, she whispers, catching him off guard. He turns to see Liu Ruyan standing right behind him. Staring at her gorgeous face, he instantly feels guilty. Caught red-handed? No shot he survives this, guys. But honestly, sneaking up behind him is totally on her. Still, her side profile is absolutely stunning close-up. Any ordinary guy would have kissed her by now. He quickly snaps out of his wild daydream. Wait, did she sound jealous? Nah, that makes no sense. Better reply first. Do not misunderstand. Moderators must check every single video. It is our duty, he lies with a solid excuse. Hearing this, she tilts her head. Her bright eyes lock on his dodging gaze. Men. Creeped out, he claims he's busy. He just wants her gone. She might recognize him, but she does not budge. Instead, her smile widens, showing off sweet little dimples. You look familiar, she says. Have we met before? Our boy completely freezes up. Laughing, he claims he looks like Daniel Wu. So feeling he looks familiar makes perfect sense. Pure cap. Liu Ruyan giggles, calling classmate Gu hilarious. He is handsome, but that is a weak excuse. Graduation reunion? 18-year-old Liu Ruyan is gorgeous. Her sweet voice and gentle laugh melt his heart instantly. Dazed, he tries one last defense. He claims she is mistaken, to no avail. Calling him classmate is her way of teasing him. She immediately plays along, acting playfully bossy. How could I be wrong? You dumped me. Crying all night, eyes swelling up. You scumbag. He stares, shocked, despite 36 years of experience. Stunned, he yells out to protest. Gu Chen is dying inside, basically begging her to stop teasing him in front of everyone. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan just playfully sticks her tongue out, knowing exactly what she is doing. She is just exaggerating things a bit purely to tease him and see him squirm.
But get this, the nearby colleagues are absolutely losing their minds. Everyone's jaw is on the floor, and honestly, I don't blame them.
She flashes a sly grin, calling him classmate Gu, and says the company is super busy.
She asks if he can do her a favor and pull just 1 hour of overtime. Gu Chen is completely stunned. Talk about a wild plot twist. Is she already targeting him? Why is she so obsessed with making him work late? Seeing him suffer, Liu Ruyan just smirks, completely enjoying her little victory.
Her cheeks turn a little pink as she softly asks if he is happy about it. She says they can finally leave work together, and Gu Chen's eyes nearly pop out.
Who would be happy about this? Definitely not him. He feels totally trapped. Mentally, he is basically an old uncle who is way too tired for this. He has zero interest in young girls, but man, you have to admit her smile is sweet. It is sweet enough to melt even his jaded heart, but working 1 extra hour is fine. He has no choice but to give in, the moment he reluctantly nods yes.
Liu Ruyan happily skips back to her office. It is just like high school all over again.
She still has massive feelings for him, but this time she is not that shy girl anymore.
She is built different now. Right then, she silently makes a promise to herself. She is absolutely going to seize this chance and win Gu Chen's heart once and for all. Once she leaves, Gu Chen is left with a massive headache.
Why did he have to get stuck with her? Why is it so hard to just be a slacker?
Before he can even process his life, the office erupts into absolute chaos. Wait, wasn't the new female CEO supposed to be some legendary icy queen? She looks more like a cute neighbor. But then again, everyone is low-key jealous of him. His coworkers immediately start teasing him, calling him old goo. They're like, bro, you're actually built different, pulling a literal female CEO? He just rolls his eyes at them, totally ignoring their dramatic begging. Honestly, he's thinking it's easy if you're just as insanely good-looking as he is.
By afternoon, Gui is completely exhausted and notices his coffee cup is bone dry.
But right when he grabs his mug and stands up for a refill, boom! 2 hands gently but firmly press him straight back down into his office chair. A sweet voice steals his cup, telling him to sit tight while his little sister gets it. Gu is totally baffled by the whole Big Brother act, but then he turns around. There she is. Liu Ruyan has somehow snaked up right behind him again.
She's smiling warmly, looking exactly like a cute, playful girl next door.
This is actually crazy. Has she seriously been lurking behind his chair this entire time?
He thought she was locked in her private office, unless he was just too focused on editing.
He didn't even notice her sneak up, so he awkwardly tells her he can do it.
Honestly, he just wants to avoid any weird, complicated office drama at all costs. But she immediately snatches the mug right out of his hands a second time. She pouts, reminding him that she's the literal boss of this company anyway. Then she asks if it's so wrong to take care of her favorite big brother with the most innocent look. Gu is just sweating bullets, wishing she would go bother literally anyone else. Liu Ruyan gently pats Gu Chen on the shoulder, finally letting him breathe a little easier. Then she personally whips up a warm cup of coffee and slowly brings it right to his desk. Gu Chen nods happily and takes it, thanking his boss and telling her to get back to work. Honestly, Gu Chen is praying with his whole heart that she is just here to drop off the coffee and leave. But reality is harsh, and she immediately pulls up a plastic stool. She slides right next to him like it is nothing, leaving Gu Chen totally speechless.
Of course, Liu Ruyan does not care about his panic at all and just flashes this super shy smile.
She blinks those gorgeous eyes and asks if his work is super boring. She offers to keep him company, which completely blows Gu Chen's mind. Like, she is literally using this as an excuse to just stare at him. I love this so much. But honestly, looking into those bright, gorgeous eyes, he can't even be mad. He actually feels a little bit of comfort. At this point, he is absolutely certain of one thing. Liu Ruyan definitely does not hate him for rejecting her back in their sophomore year of high school. Instead, now that he is her employee, she is doubling down with an even crazier romantic pursuit. Imagine having a gorgeous, cold female CEO who literally just wants to stare at you up close.
She actually drags a tiny stool over to sit right by his side. She claims she is just keeping him from getting bored, even though Gu Chen secretly finds his job pretty fun. He keeps insisting that he is not bored at all, trying his best to explain. But Liu Ruyan refuses to leave. She is acting just like a stubborn little kitten that will not back down. Meanwhile, their coworkers keep looking over, and honestly, every single one of them is green with envy. They are probably thinking Gu Chen is a total blockhead for not realizing what is happening. Seriously, how is he so blind to this? It is actually crazy. If it were them, they would have said yes instantly. Meanwhile, Gu Chen just keeps clicking his mouse. Ruyan quietly sits right next to him as he works. And honestly, who knows how much time passes? She finally gets too bored and asks if they can chat while he works, calling him Chenchen. Gu Chen's face goes totally pale as he begs her to please stop calling him that nickname. She thinks about it for a second and beams, asking if she should call him Gugu or Little Chenchen instead. Seeing no way out, he finally gives in and tells her to just stick with Chenchen. Liu Ruyan nods happily and cutely licks her lips. She rests her chin in her hands, her beautiful eyes darting around. She starts lost in her own memories, asking if he still remembers their high school days. She tells him she used to absolutely love watching him play basketball back then. Especially when he did those one-handed dunks, it was so cool. Getting praised face-to-face by a gorgeous girl definitely makes Gu Chen's heart skip a beat. She goes on about this one PE class when it was super hot outside. He was drenched in sweat playing basketball while all the girls in class were screaming his name. He leaped into the air for a crazy dunk and landed smoothly on one knee. That smooth routine was honestly legendary, making Gu Chen laugh pretty awkwardly. He laughs it off, saying it was really nothing special. Just average, but she is not done. She adds that she always thought he was so kind, seeing him feed strays after school. Specifically, those cute little stray dogs. Turns out she is a sucker for sweet, caring guys. Seeing him do that back then completely made her fall head over heels for him. But this just makes him feel even more awkward as he remembers those stray dogs. Honestly, it actually makes him kind of mad. Back in sophomore year, basically, there was this super aggressive stray dog that chased Chenchen every single day after school. If he did not feed it, the dog would chase him all the way to his front door. So that is why he started bringing treats and feeding this stray on his daily walk home. He fed the dog just to survive, which is definitely not something worth bragging about. Somehow Liu Ruyan saw this and labeled him a saint, which is wild. They kept chatting. Suddenly, Liu Ruyan leaned in, lowering her voice to ask if he liked anyone in the office. She offered to help him confess to his work crush, acting all sweet and supportive. But honestly, her voice was absolutely dripping with jealousy, which is low-key hilarious. Chenchen gave her a skeptical look because there was no way he was falling for that trap. He knew that if he actually named a girl he liked in this building, that poor girl would probably get shipped to a branch office tomorrow, but he still teased her. He smirked and admitted he did have a crush, making Liu Ruyan instantly regret asking. She did not expect a real answer, and her teasing smile vanished in a second. She bared her teeth like a mad little puppy, demanding to know who it was. Seeing her get this worked up was so satisfying, and Chenchen loved keeping her in suspense. With her cheeks puffed up in anger, he just laughed and told her to go guess. She practically exploded like an angry kitten, huffing and puffing that she did not even care. She stuck her tongue out at him, but deep down, she was already planning her revenge. She decided she would investigate every female employee to see who dared to touch her man. She was ready to banish her rival to a remote branch in Myanmar. Talk about protective. While Chenchen was working, Liu Ruyan suddenly rolled her chair closer to him. She leaned her delicate body right against him, making him wonder what she was up to. Was she launching another attack? Our boy was determined not to let her win so easily. But she just smiled sweetly, whispering that the cherry blossom scent on his clothes was amazing. Then she actually leaned in and took a deep sniff right against his shoulder. He stood there completely speechless because she was obviously just making up excuses to touch him. Like, what kind of line is that? He did not even wear cologne. But he did have a natural, clean scent, and Liu Ruyan was absolutely loving it. She stayed by his side while he reviewed videos, even helping him spot a few system flaws. Fixing these issues would make the video production process run a whole lot smoother.
Eventually, she started getting sleepy, and her head began to tilt to the side. The desk was hard wood, and he worried her soft face would slam right into it. Okay, that is actually super sweet. So he casually slid his hand underneath her cheek to catch her before she hit. He stared at her peaceful expression, wondering if she was actually faking it to tease him. But after watching her for a few seconds, he realized she was completely knocked out. Liu Ruyan was definitely not acting. She was sleeping like an absolute baby. She was even drooling a little bit, which would totally ruin her fierce female boss image. If any of her employees saw this, she would never live it down. But honestly, she looked incredibly adorable like this, and he did not have the heart to wake her. After a few minutes, she shifted around and rolled over in her sleep. Her head ended up landing right on his arm, completely blocking his access to the mouse. He could not help but wonder why she did not just sleep in her massive office. Did she really find sleeping right next to him that much more comfortable? But he just smiled warmly and quietly shifted his laptop over to the left side. This gave her plenty of room to rest comfortably as the night went on. Gu Chen starts hearing her talking in her sleep, begging him not to fall for any other girls this time.
She mutters in her sleep, begging him not to reject her again, her voice soft and a bit blurry.
But if you listen closely, it is clear as day. Our boy Gu Chen just smiles, not taking it too seriously. He does not agree, but he does not deny it either. By the time Liu Ruyan finally wakes up, she stretches her slender waist and yawns, only to realize something hilariously awkward. She was tossing and turning so much, she literally shoved her beloved man straight into the corner of the wall. She immediately apologizes, and looking at her cute, guilty face, he just smiles and tells her it is fine. Seriously, her acting so submissive and adorable is a whole different level of charming. Liu Ruyan cutely rubs her sleepy eyes, flashes a bright smile, and then quickly slips away. Honestly, sleeping with her around was pure bliss. Once she is gone, he gets back to his laptop and continues working. Fast forward to 5 p.m. Since our main character has to work overtime, most of his colleagues have already left, except for his buddy named Zhang Wei. This bro pats his shoulder with a massive, knowing smirk on his face, calling him out. He tells Gu Chen that he is still young, and when a golden opportunity like this knocks, he needs to take the initiative so he can basically retire early and never have to work a day again. Looking at his friend's smug face, Gu Chen is completely speechless and tells him to stop talking nonsense. He insists he does not want to be a sugar baby, but Zhang Wei just sighs, saying the youth really do not appreciate a rich woman. Seeing that Gu Chen is totally hopeless, Zhang Wei just shakes his head in disappointment. A bit later, the entire office goes completely quiet, and Gu Chen is the last soul left. Checking the clock, it is almost 6 p.m. He immediately slams his laptop shut, ready to make a run for it. If he can just slip out fast enough, maybe he can dodge all the drama. Love cannot catch him if he is moving at lightning speed. Plus, he actually has plans tonight. He has not played video games in forever, so he rushes towards the exit, feeling like he is finally free. But right as he is about to take a breath of fresh air, something halts him. A soft, pale little hand suddenly creeps up like a ghost and taps his shoulder. Gu Chen flinches in shock, instantly recognizing that soft, familiar touch. A sweet voice pouts, asking why he is in such a rush and if he is actively avoiding her. He spins around to find Liu Ruyan standing right behind him, looking adorable, but slightly annoyed. She's tilting her head, staring at him with those big eyes. Okay, no wonder she was not in her office. Turns out she was camping the exit this whole time. Shrugging off her touch, Gu Chen quickly cooks up a lame excuse to get out of there. He claims he has family business, which almost makes Liu Ruyan laugh out of sheer disbelief. But she holds it in, gracefully tucking her hands behind her back instead. She leans in with a playful smile, making him panic and wonder what she is planning. He quickly dodges to the side, asking what she is doing, while she just giggles softly. She reminds him that work is over, there is nobody around, and there are absolutely no cameras. She teases him, asking if they should take this chance to do something a little more private. Gu Chen is completely stunned. This is not the kind of thing you expect to hear. He thinks those lines should usually come from the guy. Getting teased by a top-tier beauty is definitely tempting. His heart definitely skips a beat, but he still manages to hold on to his professional boundaries. Seeing him pull back and protect himself, Liu Ruyan just giggles, proud of her little game.
She tells him she was just teasing and that it is finally time to head home. She playfully sticks her tongue out, and our main character finally lets out a massive sigh of relief. She immediately starts chatting him up, asking if he had a good day and how he's getting home. She even asks where he lives, keeping up a non-stop stream of questions as they walk out. Chenchen sighs in defeat because he is literally riding a bicycle. It is late, so he tells her she should head home. Hearing this, Liu Ruyan instantly stops, putting her hands together. She acts all shy and claims her car's out of gas. So she asks him for a ride, leaving him completely confused. How is that possible when he literally saw her drive earlier? He stares right into her eyes, trying to expose her scheme. But she just acts innocent and tells him to go check the fuel himself. He tells her to stop acting cute right now. He has to shut down her weaponized cuteness before his heart melts.
Liu Ruyan pouts immediately, and he has no choice but to follow.
They walk to her pink Maserati because he wants to check the gas. But when he looks, the gauge is actually completely empty. She sighs and complains about how badly her car guzzles gas. Running out after a quick drive leaves Chenchen totally speechless. He realizes she must have driven a massive, deliberate detour earlier. She drained every single drop of fuel on purpose. There is no way this is a coincidence. Under his intense stare, her eyes finally begin to wander. He tells her she can easily call a cab instead. Or call someone else because he is not falling for it. If he takes her, she will definitely cause more trouble. But as he turns to leave, she grabs his arm. She whines, asking how he can leave a poor girl behind. Calling a cab alone late at night is just too cruel. Since her plan is exposed, she just doubles down on cuteness. She clings to him like sticky candy, refusing to let go. But deep down, he actually still worries. He genuinely does not feel safe letting her go home alone. Since she is so innocent, he finally folds to her whining. The moment he agrees, she joyfully shakes his hands. She even rubs her cheek on his arm in the cutest way. Even the toughest guy would melt here, but is she really safe with him? Besides, carrying a passenger on a bicycle is illegal and gets you fined. But she asks if he really thinks she cares about a fine. She pouts her cheeks again, looking completely adorable. He has to admit, she has a point. A fine is nothing to her, but they could get detained if caught. That actually works, and she lets go of his arm. She thinks deeply while biting her lip to find a solution. Finally, she comes up with a brilliant escape plan. She tells him to run first while she covers him. Chenchen stares at her like she is a complete idiot. It sounds heroic, but if they actually get caught, he would never leave her behind. But then another problem hits him. But my place is in the university town. We are totally out of the way. What a crazy coincidence. It must be fate. She claims she lives right by the university town too, and our boy is completely speechless. At this point, Chenchen realizes his last sliver of hope is officially dead. He knows you can never wake a girl pretending to be asleep, so he just heads to a scooter. Liu Ruyan glares at him, and honestly, he admits he only lied about the bicycle to avoid her. But even with this electric scooter, he points out that passengers are not technically allowed. As he takes the wheel, Liu Ruyan gently slides onto the back seat sideways. A handsome guy and an absolute top-tier goddess riding a tiny scooter together? Now that is a visual that instantly turns every single head on the street. But as they take off, Liu Ruyan wraps her arms tightly around his waist. She buries her face into his back and simply refuses to let go. Ever since high school, she has dreamed of holding her crush just like this. And after all these years, her wish is finally coming true. Her smile is pure, sweet happiness. A few minutes later, they arrive near the lively university town. The bustling night market nearby immediately catches the attention of Liu Ruyan. And right on cue, her stomach starts growling pretty loudly. She begs him to stop at a busy food stall for a quick bite before they head home. But our boy is not having it. He just wants to go home and play video games. Why waste time on a girl when gaming is infinitely more fun? Besides, he does not want a girlfriend anyway, so he has zero reason to pamper her. She whines, calling him Chenchen, saying they should just eat a quick meal together.
But then she starts pulling her usual tricks from behind.
She gently sways against him, her cute voice melting his defenses.
Honestly, who could possibly resist the ultimate weapon of a beautiful girl acting cute?
Our main character finally gives in, steering his scooter right into the crowded night market.
They park and Liu Ruyan hops off with a cute little whine.
She complains that her butt is completely numb, making Chenchen roll his eyes. The evening air is actually quite chilly as a cold breeze sweeps through. Liu Ruyan shivers a little, and Chenchen immediately notices this tiny detail.
He takes off his jacket and drapes it over her shoulders, absolutely surprising her.
She asks why he is suddenly being so sweet, but he just claims he was feeling hot.
He jokes about taking it back, but she clutches it like a protective little kitten. She quickly holds on to the jacket, declaring she is definitely keeping it.
With a playful wink, she tells him it belongs to her now.
Deep down, she is absolutely thrilled, and her pure joy is honestly adorable. Even Chenchen thinks she is insanely cute, though he jokingly wants to throw her. Soon, they step into the food street, which is packed shoulder to shoulder. It is a literal paradise for foodies, filled with skewers and milk tea.
Everything from fried noodles is here, and suddenly she spots stinky tofu.
She immediately begs Chenchen to buy her some. But he just glares, reminding her that she has not even earned her first paycheck yet. Honestly, stinky tofu is pretty cheap, but he is not giving in that easily.
You can never spoil him too early, right?
Liu Ruyan looks confused, completely shocked he is being so stingy over something so small.
She refuses to let him pay, pulling out her phone to tap the screen instead.
Before Chenchen can even stop her, his phone suddenly buzzes with a massive notification. Alipay received 1 million yuan. All Chenchen did was buy this female CEO some stinky tofu. Talk about built different. She literally transfers him 1 million yuan on the spot. Staring at the massive fortune on his screen, our boy Chenchen takes a second to process this. He realizes he has to return this cash, or else she might start making some wild demands.
Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan is rubbing her hands and licking her lips, eagerly waiting for the tofu to finish frying.
Out of sheer curiosity, Chenchen asks how a rich young lady like her could love street food.
To his surprise, Liu Ruyan just winks right back at him with total confidence.
She explains that all her friends love it, even though her parents claim street food is dirty. They forbid her from eating it, but she just sneaks out and keeps it a secret. She leans in and tells Chenchen that this is their little secret now. He must never tell her secretary, and Chenchen quickly agrees to keep his mouth shut. Internally, he is sweating because he knows that employees who learn too many boss secrets usually regret it. They never end up well. Just then, the freshly fried, fragrant stinky tofu is finally ready. Liu Ruyan grabs the bowl and immediately pokes a piece with a toothpick. She pops it into her beautiful red lips, chewing away with pure delight. Making happy sounds, she asks Chenchen why he is not having any. That is when she snaps out of it and notices he has been staring blankly at her. Blushing, she gets shy, making Chenchen quickly look away with an awkward murmur. He grabs a piece and tries it, finding the flavor to be pretty amazing. It is still not as good as his old high school spot, so he hands the rest to her. She loves it. Piece after piece, she devours them happily. Suddenly, she lets out a sharp gasp, making Chenchen spin around instantly. Turns out a drop of grease had accidentally landed right on her smooth, pale thigh. The sticky drop makes her uncomfortable, and she turns her big, watery eyes toward him. She asks if he can help her wipe the grease off her leg. Our boy thinks this is way too inappropriate, asking if she can just do it herself. He refuses, firmly believing in keeping his boundaries with women. But as soon as he refuses, Liu Ruyan instantly pouts with the most tragic puppy dog eyes. She whines that her hands are completely full, forcing him to look closer.
Sure enough, her hands are totally loaded up. This girl really knows how to spend.
Left with no choice, he pulls out a tissue, staring down at her bare, flawless legs. They look incredibly smooth, with proportions that are honestly out of this world. Shaking off any distracted thoughts, he focuses on wiping the grease away. But the very second his hand makes contact, he feels her entire body stiffen. She shudders, as if an electric shock went straight through her. Once he finishes, he looks up to see her blushing face buried deep in her collar. Honestly, shopping with girls is a total headache, but he has no choice here.
Since she is the big boss, he just rolls with it as she keeps buying starch sausages. She grabs grilled trotters, rolled ice cream, crawfish, and every single trending street snack.
Our boy ends up carrying everything so she can actually have her hands free to eat.
She decides to reward him by holding up a half-eaten hot dog right to his mouth.
It is even stained with her bright red lipstick right at the bite mark.
He immediately shakes his head because eating that is literally an indirect kiss. No way he is falling for her traps, but by the time they finish all the food, it is already 8:30 in the evening. Still wanting more, Liu Ruyan immediately orders 2 boba milk teas. Honestly, this is when Chenchen realizes just how much food girls can actually pack away. Like, her waist is so tiny, but somehow she eats a mountain of food without even showing a bloat. No wonder she grew so well. Holding her milk teacup, Liu Ruyan is in absolute heaven.
She sips from the straw, looking exactly like a cute little hamster.
Suddenly, her eyes lock onto a couple standing not too far away. They are doing that super cheesy indirect kiss thing, drinking from each other's milk teas. It is incredibly sweet. She points and tells him, "Chenchen, look how adorable they are."
She begs him, "Let us drink our milk tea like that too, please, pretty please."
She is literally acting like a needy little kitten pulling at his arm.
He tells her, "You literally just said that is for couples, and I am not doing that."
Yes, our boy Chenchen is standing strong this time, refusing to spoil her anymore. It was supposed to be a simple dinner, so how did it turn into this? She pouts. "Humph, with that attitude, you are literally never getting a girlfriend." She stomps her feet in frustration, looking adorable even when she is mad. Getting even more annoyed, she gives his chest a soft, playful punch. Then she giggles and runs off, leaving him feeling that ridiculously soft hit. He wonders who gave her the right to just hit him whenever she wants. But as she turns around, she trips over a random rock. Her body tilts forward, and she is about to take a hard faceplant. With lightning-fast reflexes, Chenchen reacts instantly and grabs her by the waist. He pulls her back with a jerk, sending her small body flying right into his chest.
She crashes into his embrace, gasping in sheer shock. That close call definitely spooked her, leaving her breathing heavily against him.
Once she snaps out of it, she realizes he is still holding her waist tightly. Caught in his arms, her entire face instantly flushes a deep red. She panics, murmuring a quick thank you before she can even think.
Then she buries her face back into his chest, taking a deep breath of his scent. Chenchen asks what she is doing, but she just begs to hold him a little longer.
"No way," he says. "This is totally inappropriate, so let go already." This girl just keeps taking advantage of him, playfully teasing him with her tongue out.
But right as they are finally getting ready to leave, a sudden downpour hits. Panicking, Liu Ruyan grabs his hand and they bolt toward the bike shed. Before they can even reach it, the rain turns into an absolute deluge. Left with no choice, they look for cover, and she spots a dry spot. She points to a tiny ledge, but it is barely big enough for one person. With her hair soaking wet from the wind, she completely ignores herself and directs him. She tells him to squat down, leaving him totally confused as to what she wants. He obeys, only to watch in shock as she starts unbuttoning her jacket. Panicking, he immediately tries to stop her, asking what on earth she's doing. He yells, "Wait, I am not that kind of easy guy."
She teases him for being shameless, then opens up her jacket right over him. She holds it up like an umbrella to shield him, wearing a proud, brilliant smile.
Now he is perfectly dry, while she is left standing completely exposed in the rain. Gu Chen is actually pretty touched and tries to stand up. But Liu Ruyan blocks him with her elbow, telling him to stay down before he catches a cold. She says if he takes a day off tomorrow, she won't be able to see him anymore.
And if he misses even one day of work, she is docking half his monthly bonus.
Honestly, she is just making up wild excuses to keep him close, which is low-key adorable. Hearing this, Gu Chen can only listen and squat down under her shelter. It doesn't really block much rain, though, and she ends up totally soaked in no time. Luckily, the storm passes as quickly as it came.
Gu Chen immediately stands up and gives her a totally helpless look.
He grabs her damp hand and leads her over to the scooter shed.
He tells her he is taking her home to get a warm shower immediately.
Liu Ruyan is shivering from the cold now, looking super fragile.
She softly mumbles, Chenchen, I am so cold. Can you please just hug me first?
He looks at her, gently patting her hair. He opens his arms and pulls her close, instantly warming her up. Leaning into his chest, she slowly looks up to meet his eyes.
Gu Chen looks down at her face, and the chemistry here is actually insane.
In a weak voice, she asks if he can reward her just this once. That soft, sweet voice of hers works like an absolute charm on him. Gu Chen finds himself nodding along and slowly leans down. Liu Ruyan gets on her tiptoes, but right when the magic is about to happen, disaster strikes because they are too caught up in the moment. They lose their balance, and with a loud thud, they go down. Gu Chen hits the ground hard, and she immediately panics and apologizes.
She asks if he is hurt, then gasps because he's actually bleeding.
Completely losing her cool, she scrambles to call for an ambulance. He quickly tries to stop her from making that call. He tells her that he is not some big-time celebrity. A tiny scratch like this definitely does not need a hospital trip. But she refuses, arguing that he is bleeding and must go. She commands him to stay still, her tone turning completely dominant. No shot anyone can convince her otherwise right now.
She is giving major boss energy here, even if her voice is still super worried.
Soon enough, the ambulance pulls up, but when the medics see the wound, they give the two of them the most bewildered look ever. Like, you called emergency services for a tiny scratch? Gu Chen literally covers his face in pure embarrassment. Turns out, this entire high-end private hospital belongs to her family. So the staff just has to cater to the young heiress. An hour and a half later, Gu Chen is finally patched up. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan takes a quick shower and changes into clean clothes. She stays right by his side, asking if he needs medicine or water. Does he want water or an apple? Is he cold? Will he please talk to her? Seeing how much she cares, Gu Chen can only smile and reassure her. You should rest, she says, finally sitting down next to him. He sits there obediently waiting, but honestly, he is not trying to stay here for a tiny scratch. No way he is staying, so he tells Liu Ruyan that his wound is all patched up. He wants out immediately, but she shuts that down. What if you bump it outside? What if the wound splits open and gets some crazy bacterial infection on top of that? What if you end up paralyzed and have to amputate your leg? That is not worth it. So you are staying put. Liu Ruyan immediately cuts him off like a super protective mom protecting her kid. He honestly thought it was no big deal, but her crazy speech actually gets to him. Now he is actually low-key terrified. She definitely has a unique way of comforting people. It literally feels like she is jinxing him. Suddenly, the room gets quiet. Liu Ruyan stares at his face, and you just know she is remembering that moment. Bro, they were literally inches away from kissing. Such a missed opportunity. The tension is so real that neither of them speaks, until 5 minutes later.
She breaks the silence, telling him she already talked to the manager.
He does not have to work tomorrow and should just focus on resting here. It is getting super late, so she suggests they finally get some sleep. He looks at her, completely wide awake. He just cannot sleep in this place. The hospital vibes are totally killing his mood, so Liu Ruyan comes up with a plan. She offers to tell him a bedtime story, and before he can even reject it, she starts. She is already looking at her phone, reading about a princess who fell asleep. Like, seriously, that story's ancient. Seeing his unimpressed face, she pivots immediately. She quickly switches over to Snow White and her 7 dwarfs, hoping he likes that one better. He is totally facepalming here. Can she not find anything newer? She proceeds to read 5 more stories anyway. But get this, he is still wide awake while she is the one passing out. She gets all groggy, her beautiful eyes finally giving up the fight to stay open. Her head drops right onto the blanket. Just a few minutes later, she is out. Liu Ruyan is completely knocked out. Poor girl is absolutely exhausted after a long shift at work. It is past 11 p.m. and she is still here. Sleeping while sitting up like that looks so uncomfortable. She keeps tossing and turning, so he quietly slips out of his bed to help. He sneaks up behind her, gently wrapping his arms around her slender waist. He slowly lifts her up, carrying her over, and gently lays her on the bed. He pulls the blanket all the way up to her chin. She must be absolutely exhausted. She does not even stir throughout all of this, finally drifting into a sweet, peaceful dream. He gently pats her head, whispers a quiet goodnight, and slips out of the room. The next morning, the first rays of sunlight hit the room. Liu Ruyan slowly wakes up and stretches her body. She sits up slowly, stretching her arms out like a sleepy little cat. Once she realizes she is in a hospital room, the memories of yesterday rush back. Wait, she is not the patient here. It is Gu Chen who is supposed to be in bed. She immediately feels super guilty for stealing his spot. How on earth did she let that happen? But then she notices the absolute silence in a room. Something is definitely off.
Gu Chen is completely gone. She leaps out of bed instantly. She searches everywhere, checking under the bed and inside the closet, but finds nothing.
Just then, a nurse walks in, and she rushes over to ask what happened to her friend. The nurse tells her that the patient from yesterday actually checked out and left last night.
Apparently, he was super sweet and specifically told the staff not to wake her up.
Liu Ruyan's head literally starts buzzing like a deflated balloon. She slumps back onto the bed in complete disbelief. Gu Chen actually ran away last night while she was asleep. She seriously wants to cry. He ran away even with an injured leg.
Did he really abandon her? No shot. She realizes something.
Her eyes light up. She quickly gets ready, grabs her phone, and hails a cab to the office. Rushing in, she spots his familiar side profile and finally breathes. Gu Chen is actually here. He's super early, too, since he loves this peaceful work life. He got straight to reviewing videos, currently checking out a cute girl dancing. For research purposes, obviously. He had to rewatch it 20 times. When Liu Ruyan sees this, she gets super jealous and sneaks up. She wants to jump scare him, but then remembers last night. How he gently carried her to bed. She leans down and kisses him. Gu Chen is focused on his mouse when he feels something warm. She just kissed his cheek. He completely freezes, turns around, and is shocked to see her. No shot, she just pulled off a surprise attack from behind! He quickly wipes the red lipstick mark off, asking what she's doing. There are so many people here, but she just giggles. She happily calls it a morning kiss, her porcelain face glowing. Honestly, her smile is so stunning that all the sleepy employees instantly wake up. She pouts, asking if Gu Chen doesn't like it. She tilts her head, looking sad, but he's just thinking absolutely not. Gu Chen gets so flustered, his face turns completely red. This absolute display of PDA has the office single dogs crying from envy. Everyone whispers about how he's a dense blockhead. She blushes hard. She scurries off. What can he do? She is his boss. Once she sits down, she locks in, then asks her secretary for updates. Apparently they have a big video promotion coming up soon. They have the girls, but desperately need a male model. A male model? Yeah, the previous guys were bad fits. Or they got sick. Any good recommendations? It was a casual question, but Liu Ruyan actually starts thinking deeply. Suddenly, she gets a brilliant idea and looks right out the window. Lunchtime arrives. Everyone rushes to the cafeteria, leaving only Gu Chen finishing his work. Finally, he gets up to grab food. But right as he stands, a pair of soft, fair hands gently push him down, leaving him stunned. Honestly, the author cooked with this trope. Classic routine. He turns around to her breathtaking smile. Seriously, how does she always sneak up like that? Gu is starving at this point, wondering if she is actually gonna play nice for once. He tells her to quit clinging. You can't expect a worker to do anything on an empty stomach. Then she gets this playfully serious look and tells him he can skip the cafeteria today.
Because she literally made him a special love bento, promising it tastes absolutely elite.
She slams the lunchbox right onto his desk with a proud grin. He takes a closer look, and yup, it is bright pink. Honestly, a pink lunchbox for our tough main character is hilarious, and the food inside looks incredibly vibrant. It actually looks pretty appetizing, but he still feels a bad vibe creeping in. There is definitely a trap here, so he tells her to just eat it herself. Gu tries to make a quick escape before things get weird, but she blocks his path like a stubborn kid, spreading her arms wide. No shot, she spent 3 whole hours in the cafeteria making this masterpiece. She demands he finish every single bite, but Gu is just mentally rolling his eyes. He refuses to get pushed around and flat out says no. Wanting to see what she will do, he holds out, so she instantly switches tactics. Time for the ultimate weapon, her cute, unstoppable puppy dog act.
She clings to his arm, whining for Brother Gu to take just one tiny bite. Leaning into his chest, she slowly nudges him backward until he plops onto his chair.
He is completely helpless here, because whenever Liu Ruyan acts this cute, he folds. His defenses literally melt away, and he loses all power to resist.
He is convinced his body has some weird glitch and he needs a doctor.
Is being weak to cute girls an actual medical condition? Anyway, seeing him sit down,
She beams with triumph, begging him to try it, but he holds on to his final shred of pride.
suddenly she gets a devious look and threatens to kiss him if...
She threatens to kiss him until he takes it, pursing her bright red lips, so he quickly yields. He screams that he'll drink it as her cherry lips come in for the attack.
He completely surrenders, wondering what kind of sins he committed in his past life. Even though she successfully coaxes him, our boy now has to suffer the sweet torture of her flying kisses. But he actually acts disgusted by her kiss, making her whine and throw her hands on her tiny waist. She calls him a dummy, since other guys would literally die for a kiss from her. Yet he actually rejects it? Talk about a plot twist. Our boy sits down to open the lunchbox, and the insane presentation immediately catches his eye. Especially the heart-shaped fried egg right in the middle, you can tell she put her whole heart into this. Underneath that egg, there's a layer of savory beef and sweet and sour pork, and some kung pao chicken. Counting it all up, she made him 11 different dishes. Further down, there's rice and fresh fruit. Bro, this isn't a simple bento anymore. This is straight up a 5-star royal feast, and Liu Ruyan is just waiting right beside him. She's looking super expectant as he picks up his fork and goes for a piece of the chicken first. He pops it right in. Taste test time. Liu Ruyan literally cannot wait, staring at him as he looks into her eyes. He chews slowly, then quietly asks if she forgot the salt. Her face completely falls as she rubs her hands, admitting she's just way too clumsy. She was too scared to add any, but seeing her feel this guilty is low-key adorable, and suddenly that unsalted chicken tastes sweet as honey to him. She asks if it's terrible, telling him to just stop eating it. She looks pretty bummed out and says they should probably just eat at the cafeteria instead. But as she reaches out her tiny hand to take back the lunchbox, he just smiles. He stops her, saying it is actually fine and he can easily finish the whole thing. Honestly, he is totally lying to her. The lack of salt is the least of his problems. The main issue is there is some incredibly bizarre flavor in here that tastes like pure disaster. But he really hates wasting food, so he starts shoveling the rice down as fast as possible. He even pretends to absolutely love it, which makes her cute little eyes completely light up with joy. Then she happily promises to cook for him every single day, which immediately makes him choke. He quickly waves his hands, telling her that is really not necessary. But he does not want to ruin her vibe since she looks so incredibly happy watching him eat. Seeing him eat with such energy actually makes her hungry too, so she slides in closer. She cute talks him, asking if she can have some too and if he can feed her. He is secretly relieved to share the burden and immediately tries to find her a spoon. Since there is so much food anyway, but she instantly pouts and refuses. She insists on using his fork, or else she is just going to take it straight from his mouth. Bro, what? This girl is low-key trying to get an indirect kiss here. So he quickly switches to the fork instead, but she does not even reach to take it. She just opens her mouth and waits to be fed while he rolls eyes at her. She complains, asking if it is really that hard when she peeled shrimp for him yesterday. No shot, she is already bringing up past favorites just to get her way. She is built different. Turns out her peeling shrimp for him yesterday was just a setup for this exact moment. At this point, he really cannot find any good excuse to refuse her. So he reluctantly grabs a piece of beef with the fork and feeds it to her. Her face turns bright red as she eagerly takes the bite right from his hand. She looks absolutely thrilled for a split second, until the actual flavor hits her tongue. Her face instantly drops into a bitter melon expression as she realizes how terrible it is. She is totally shocked, whining about why cooking has to be this difficult.
She wonders how she will ever become a good wife, looking completely defeated and sad.
He cannot help but laugh at her reaction and reassures her that it is fine. He tells her as long as it fills his stomach, he is happy, which cheers her up. And just like that, they survive their mystery box lunch, and honestly, that was low-key adorable. But then she tilts her head and leans even closer to him with a cheeky smile. She mentions her company is desperately looking for a male model, but she cannot find anyone suitable. But today she finally realized that the perfect candidate has actually been right here, right in front of her. He is confused and asks what male model she means. He has no idea why she is suddenly bringing this up to him.
She explains she wants him to be the model because his body and looks are perfect.
He is literally the ideal fit, and she promises the job is super easy. He just has to pose for a few minutes, and the pay is double his auditor salary. But Chenchen immediately shuts her down because he has zero interest in being a model. Plus, he does not want his face seen by billions of people. No wonder she made him a lunch. Turns out this entire meal was just a bribe to get him on camera. Nice try, but no shot. She keeps pushing, saying the model needs to be over 185 centimeters tall. And they need to look like a literal superstar, so he is the only one who fits. She begs him to help, but he is not falling for the sweet talk. Gu Chen waves his hand, saying he does not live off his looks. Next, she points a single finger at him, offering $10,000 for a quick 10-second ad.
No way, she asks, seeing him shake his head.
She holds up two fingers, raising the price to $20,000. Ruyan tries to force the deal, but he taps her forehead to stop her.
He tells her he is not interested, knowing she is just giving him a sweet deal.
Since he is not some pro model or celebrity, there is no way the rate is that high. He gently rubs her forehead, trying to wipe away all those crazy ideas. He tells her to find someone else, making her pout and huff in annoyance.
She points out that as a man, there has got to be something he likes.
Since cash is out, she assumes he must be into girls instead.
Speechless. Absolutely speechless. Honestly, what kind of crazy logic is that? But he realizes she is not wrong. Suddenly, she gets super serious. She offers to go to his house tonight and take care of him if he says yes. No shot. She sounds pretty excited about this plan, which shocks him even more. Wait, how is she winning?
Seriously, how does a powerful female CEO say something that embarrassing with a straight face? He asks what she could even do, so she quickly lists her skills. She promises to dress up as an anime character and clean his entire house.
Plus, she will give him massages, claiming all otaku guys love that stuff. At this point, he is just completely speechless. Like, who on earth taught her all this? Also, since when was he an otaku? He can never let her find out. He low-key loves Mai Shiranui, but her little head is already moving on to other ideas.
She blushes, shyly adding that if he cannot control himself around her, it is not a big deal.
She giggles, saying it is actually totally fine with her.
She quickly looks away in embarrassment, covering her blushing face with her hands.
From sad to super excited.
You can hear her low-key giggling with excitement, making Gu Chen roll his eyes.
He shuts her down instantly, leaving her to whine about what he actually wants.
Just normal work, he replies. Liu Ruyan crosses her arms, wondering if Gu Chen is even a real man. How is he completely unfazed by all this? She clings to his arm and begs him with her ultimate cute face.
Her soft voice and adorable shaking finally break him. He gives in. He asks when they start and if he needs a costume.
Normal wages only, he says, making her sigh in relief.
She giggles, proud she finally wore him down. Honestly, other guys would kill for this, but Gu Chen is built different. Fast forward to 3 p.m. The CEO shows up and walks straight over to him.
She gently grabs his shirt as they head to the studio.
Instantly, the entire office starts gossiping about how lucky he is. Another guy jokes that if it were him, they would already have 3 kids by now. Pretty soon, they finally arrive at the studio, and honestly, the place is absolutely massive.
Inside, it is packed with racks of clothes, props, cameras, and vanity tables.
Racks of staff are running around, and right on cue, Liu Ruyan locks back into her cold, serious boss mode.
She quickly announces that Gu Chen is their male model, and boom, he is dragged off to get his makeup done and change.
But our boy Gu Chen, he just wants to get this over with so he can go back to slacking off.
But then he steps out in a tailored suit, and let me tell you, he completely steals the show. His natural charm is turned up to 11, instantly making him the absolute center of attention. Every girl in the room is low-key swooning, but Gu Chen is just standing there looking totally unfazed. The staff girls are immediately whispering about how insanely handsome this new coworker Gu Chen actually is. One girl says he has those mysterious, vampire-like vibes, and honestly, she has probably read too many web novels.
Another claims he has straight-up main character energy, and she desperately wants to slide into his direct messages.
But someone tells them to shush because he is the guy President Liu herself has her eyes on. And get this, he is no gold digger either, constantly talking back to the boss. Speaking of Liu Ruyan, she is standing on the sidelines looking completely starstruck by him. Her eyes literally have heart shapes in them, and she is even biting her lip like a total fangirl. Gu Chen gets low-key creeped out by her intense stare and instinctively pulls his jacket closer to hide. Next, the photographer calls him over to pose alongside a gorgeous influencer model named Lin Yao. Now, at first glance, this girl is definitely a stunner. But she has that standard influencer face, and to be honest, the look gets old pretty fast. But Lin Yao, her gaze is absolutely locked onto Gu Chen, totally mesmerized. Biting her lip, she realizes that despite having dated countless guys, she has never seen anyone like him. He's just built different, and right then, the photographer starts giving Gu Chen some directions.
He tells him to pick Lin Yao up and just fake a kiss for the camera.
Gu Chen is highly skeptical. Turns out making this quick cash is way harder than he thought.
He actually has to get physically close, and pulling off a convincing fake kiss is no joke. He instinctively tries to lean back, but Lin Yao deliberately presses in even closer. He glances over at Liu Ruyan, and sure enough, her jaw has completely dropped to the floor. She had no idea the photoshoot script involved a kiss, and she immediately regrets setting this up. Her cute face is a total picture of panic, since she originally thought this would be a breeze. She assumed they would just hold hands, but instead, she literally paid to watch another girl hit on her man. Now she is panicking, wondering what if Gu Chen loses his first kiss right here on set? The more she overthinks, the more terrified she gets, sending death stares straight at the photographer. Feeling a sudden chill down his spine, the photographer wonders if this is not exactly what the boss wanted. He wonders if they need even more spice, thinking they should maybe just do a real kiss instead. Before anyone can even call action, Lin Yao wraps her arms tightly around his neck. She is totally ready to go, having never seen a guy this unbelievably attractive in her entire life. She is absolutely built different, and there is no way she is waiting another second. Seeing this, Liu Ruyan starts frantically digging through the studio cabinets. Where is her knife, she wonders. Okay, this is getting crazy, but how did we even get here? He only agreed to play model for a day, but now a popular influencer is throwing herself at him.
The director tells them to just fake the angle, but she is clearly planning to go all the way.
She pouts her lips and leans in, grabbing him before he can even process what is happening. With her eyes tightly shut, she moves in for the kill, her lips inches away from his. This is definitely not a fake kiss, and nobody mentioned a kissing scene when he signed up for this. He definitely should have charged extra for this, as the camera crew quickly rolls. Lights are set and everyone is fully prepared to capture the perfect moment. Suddenly, a sharp voice rings out in the room. Stop! Lin Yao is startled and freezes immediately. Gu Chen finally lets his hands drop, letting out a massive sigh of relief. The shout came from none other than Liu Ruyan, whose face is now completely flushed with anger. She demands to swap the model. The photographer is totally stunned, wondering who she wants.
At such a critical moment, where on earth are they supposed to find a replacement?
But Liu Ruyan just pouts her pretty lips and demands to kick Lin Yao out. Since she thinks she is not a good fit, she decides to step in herself. Talk about an absolute boss move. Lin Yao is completely stunned and doesn't even dare to look at her.
Liu Ruyan's glare is so incredibly fierce that the poor girl can only walk away with her head down. She finally found a guy even more handsome than a top-tier celebrity like Lu Yanzu. But who would have thought her own CEO would swoop in? Gu Chen blinks in total disbelief. He tells her to stop messing around with everyone watching, but she immediately puts her hands on her hips. She looks totally jealous, huffing like a cute but angry little menace. She asks if he actually wants to kiss her. Gu Chen helplessly explains it was supposed to be fake, but she refuses to listen.
She does not care, unable to find a logical excuse. She starts throwing a little tantrum, shaking her head like a cute little rattle drum.
Total kid energy right here, but then she suddenly takes a flying leap
And jumps right onto our boy, giving him a massive bear hug.
wrapping her arms tightly around his neck. All right, now they're locked in.
Liu Ruyan faces Gu Chen, begging the crew to start the shoot already.
She looks incredibly excited, leaving Gu Chen standing there feeling completely helpless.
But he shrugs it off, figuring a shoot is a shoot no matter what.
Plus, he secretly realizes that holding her actually makes him feel strangely at peace.
He tells himself it is just a mistake while the crew stands there stunned.
Seriously, the crew is wondering if their cold CEO has a split personality.
I mean, she is a straight-up beast to everyone else, but around Gu Chen?
She turns into a cute little kitten, prompting the crew to quickly start filming. The studio lights hit them both as they prepare to start. Looking into her eyes, Gu Chen is shocked to see his own reflection completely filling her gaze. He smiles and stops resisting, gently reaching out to wrap his arms around her. He warns her again to remember this is fake, but Liu Ruyan is immediately unhappy. She glares with her beautiful eyes, puffing her cheeks and demanding to know what he will do.
Honestly, seeing her act like a spoiled kid, Gu Chen cannot even stay mad.
He jokingly threatens to spank her, making her huff and puff in mock protest. She does not look scared at all, and just like that, the chaotic shoot officially begins. Even though the CEO did not change her clothes, the chemistry on screen is absolutely insane. The photographer is totally blown away, muttering that these two are literally a perfect match. He keeps directing them, telling them to get closer and closer for the shot. Closer, yes, perfect, he says, and they follow his lead. Liu Ruyan smirks, narrowing her eyes and pouting her lips in pure satisfaction. She is loving every second, leaving Gu Chen completely speechless.
Our boy Chenchen feels like the camera guy is plotting against him as her lips get closer.
They are only 3.14 centimeters apart when he instinctively jerks his head back to dodge.
No shot. He was right. She actually wanted a real kiss. Liu Yuan opens her eyes, looking totally annoyed that she still hasn't landed the kiss.
So she leans in even closer, secretly celebrating in her head.
His first kiss is finally hers! Just a little bit more.
Honestly, the entire studio goes dead silent. Nobody even dares to blink.
Everyone is waiting for this crucial moment, but right as she locks in, Gu Chen blocks her with a single finger. Nice try, Liu Ruyan.
She whines about him not cooperating during the shoot. She completely abandons her pride, throwing her whole weight forward to force it.
But she's actually surprisingly strong, forcing him to turn his head.
And she ends up planning a kiss right on his cheek instead.
Gu Chen tells her to get off since the shoot is over.
He scolds her seriously, leaving Liu Ruyan totally frustrated and pouting.
All that hype just to get his cheek? That's actually hilarious. She tries to force his face back around, but Gu Chen reacts instantly.
He blocks her by slapping his palm right over her face, making her kiss his hand instead.
She whines that he's cheating, but he fires back that she started it.
He calls her a little troublemaker, not even realizing something about himself.
In this exact moment, his voice has actually softened up quite a bit.
After the shoot, the photographer totally hypes them up, telling everyone they are easily the most gorgeous couple he has ever filmed in his entire career. Gu Chen grabs his well-earned cash and immediately heads back to the office to slack off. But get this, once the ad actually drops online, it goes absolutely viral. It instantly crosses over 1 million views, and even though people know it's just an ad, almost 80% of the viewers are rewatching it 100 times without ever scrolling away, and before they know it, it's already 5 p.m. Gu Chen skips the overtime today, happily packs up his stuff, and immediately heads out. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan finishes up all her own work in the main CEO office early, just so she can leave.
She runs out to find him, but looking around, he's nowhere to be seen.
Pouting in deep disappointment, she grumbles about why he couldn't just wait for her for once. What a total blockhead! But seeing her look like this? His funny coworker Erdan immediately sells him out to get points, quickly standing up to inform the boss where he went.
He tells her Gu Chen went to the library, basically running away to hide. Liu Ruyan acts like she just found her prime target, nodding happily at the helpful coworker. Then she literally skips right out the office door like a happy little rabbit chasing her treat. The remaining coworkers are just completely lost for words, wondering what is wrong with Gu Chen.
How does a guy constantly manage to run away from a gorgeous CEO who is clearly super obsessed with him?
They even start wondering if he likes guys, telling themselves to keep their distance. Soon enough, Liu Ruyan arrives at the library, which is incredibly peaceful and quiet. There is barely anyone around, and she immediately spots him sitting quietly on a bench reading a book. As he reads peacefully, she casually grabs a random book off the shelf.
Honestly, her attempt at acting completely casual is the funniest thing ever as she hides her face and slowly creeps closer. But as her soft footsteps get closer, Gu Chen easily spots her out of the corner of his eye.
He just smirks, but keeps his head down, waiting for her to make a move.
She finally cannot resist speaking up, acting totally surprised to see him there.
She giggles and says she never expected to run into him here, claiming their hobbies are basically a perfect match.
Gu Chen looks up, giving her a look that says she is acting like a complete dummy.
This kind of terrible, cheesy encounter is honestly something only Liu Ruyan could pull off.
She pouts and asks why he is giving her that look, claiming she just came to read.
She insists there is no way she followed him because she is definitely not that bored.
Listening to her ramble, Chenchen just stares at her like she is a total goofball.
He gives her a look of pure disbelief and decides to drop a quick reality check.
Hey, your book is literally upside down. Are you planning to read that while doing a handstand? Liu Ruyan instantly panics like a startled cat and quickly glances down at her book.
Yep, it is totally upside down. Her cover is completely blown.
Giving up on the act, she leans in and asks Chenchen what he is reading.
She sweetly sits right next to him to read along, and honestly, it is just a manga.
Our boy has been totally obsessed with anime and games since he was a kid. But after graduating, he lost touch with his hobbies, a major regret from his past life. Now that he has a second chance, he is going to read every single unfinished manga. Liu Ruyan slides a little closer and gently rests her head right on his shoulder.
She is not even looking at the pages. She is just staring at his face the entire time.
Chenchen gets a massive anime sweat drop. Like, how is she already so comfortable doing this? He tries to shrug her off, but she just leans in more and enjoys every second of it. When she asks why he is not going home after work, he says he only dares to leave after she does. He is worried she will corner him again, which makes Liu Ruyan seriously pout.
She glares with her pretty eyes and tells him he can easily get revenge by cornering her instead. She promises it will work out perfectly and says he should definitely give it a shot.
Wait a minute, why does that deal sound like he is still the one getting scammed? She complains that just sitting there is boring, suggesting they listen to some music while reading. He agrees, but the moment she pulls out her phone, Chenchen is instantly stunned. He points out the incredibly handsome guy on her phone case and asks which celebrity he is. Liu Ruyan flips the phone around and looks up at him with the most doting smile. She giggles and calls him silly for not even recognizing who it is. It is literally him, and a massive question mark pops up over our boy's head. The kid in the picture is wearing a school uniform, and he does not even own one. But looking closer, the resemblance is uncanny, so Liu Ruyan starts to explain. She took it during their sophomore year when he got caught being late and had to run laps. She thought he looked incredibly handsome, so she snapped a secret photo and customized her case. He vividly remembers that day, especially how badly he needed to use the bathroom afterward. He actually ran into the bushes to pee and now wonders if she photographed that too. Slowly putting down his manga, he stares at her in absolute shock.
Then she unlocks her phone, revealing a home screen that shows him fast asleep.
He immediately realizes she must have taken this stalker photo while he was napping. Liu Ruyan just nods happily and continues down memory lane. She admits she sneaked into his classroom during lunch break just to get that perfect shot. He was sleeping so peacefully and she thought he looked absolutely adorable. She confesses she could not resist stealing a quick kiss, making his eyes widen as he asks where. Right on the lips, she giggles, calling it the perfect golden opportunity. She gives him a cheeky, playful smirk that is honestly kind of adorable.
Our boy is completely frozen. Did his high school first kiss seriously get stolen like this?
Seeing his panicked face, she covers her mouth and laughs, telling him she was just teasing.
There were way too many classmates around back then, making even a single photo incredibly hard.
He breathes a massive sigh of relief when she finally unlocks her phone.
Then, a total plot twist happens. Every app icon on her screen
Is replaced with photos of him, even if they are tiny. They are crystal clear, and honestly, how did she even take these?
Saving this many photos of him is actually wild. She must be totally obsessed.
Did Liu Ruyan major in being a paparazzi? And looking at her phone again.
It is already 2014, yet she is still using an ancient iPhone 4. He asks why a rich girl like her does not upgrade, and she just smiles shyly. She says this phone is packed with his photos, so she cannot possibly replace it.
Transferring everything to a new device would just be way too much trouble. That is low-key sweet of her, but then she slowly pulls out something else.
She plugs one of her pre-prepared earbuds directly into his ear.
Honestly, they look exactly like a cute couple who planned this whole date. Just sharing music together in the library? This is actually wholesome as hell.
After reading together with the music playing, they finally head downstairs. She immediately asks if he is tired and offers to drive him home.
Her car is gassed up and the weather forecast says it is getting freezing. It might rain, or honestly, it could even start hailing out of nowhere.
Riding an electric scooter on slippery roads is dangerous. What if he crashes?
What if a massive truck suddenly comes out of nowhere and turns him into tofu? Bro, she says she cannot even bear to picture that, so
She tugs his sleeve, begging him to stay safe inside her car instead. Her hidden agenda is so obvious it is practically hitting him in the face.
our boy is definitely not falling for it. Plus, she is basically cursing him. There is literally not a single cloud in the sky. Rain is one thing.
But predicting giant hail is just crazy, so he just grins.
A real man has to say no. Today, even if the gods themselves descend. Or if he has to jump off a roof, he is riding his scooter home. He casually waves goodbye to wish her a safe trip and walks away. But check out Liu Ruyan. She is not disappointed at all, just smirking secretly. He walks over to his trusty scooter and kicks off the kickstand. He keys it in and tries to start it up, but nothing happens.
Is the battery dead? No shot. He literally just fully charged this thing.
He only rode 2 kilometers today, so he bends down to inspect it.
The battery looks completely fine, but then he looks toward the back wheel.
And boom, there is a massive problem. Someone literally stole his chain.
Who on earth does something this petty? This is actually crazy. Even with 36 years of emotional maturity, he is about to blow a fuse. Talk about literally losing your chain at the worst moment. But as he wonders, who could possibly be this petty? A car suddenly pulls up behind him.
He turns around to see none other than that massive pink Maserati.
And sitting in the driver's seat, our cold, off-duty female CEO, Liu Ruyan. So this guy offers to drive her home in a luxury car, but she immediately smells a rat. No shot he is outsmarting her. She is convinced he is plotting to take advantage of her in the back seat, so she is absolutely not agreeing. Why get a girlfriend when gaming exists? Honestly, dating just ruins your hand speed anyway.
20 years of being single built up his insane hand speed, and he's not letting it go to waste. So without another word, he makes up a quick excuse and runs straight down to the parking lot. Honestly, it's wild how easily he escaped Liu Ruyan's clutches this time.
Something feels off, but whatever. He's not overthinking it.
Nobody can stop him from going home to play games now. He heads straight to the bike shed. He kicks up the stand and hops right onto his little electric scooter. He puts the key in and gets ready to go. Wait, what's happening? Why isn't the scooter moving? The battery is literally completely full. He gets off to check and is instantly stunned. Bro, who on earth did this?
Even with his 36 years of maturity, he can't help but swear. Turns out someone stole his scooter's chain, but get this, the culprit is right around the corner.
While he's standing there utterly confused, wondering who could be this petty, a sound suddenly comes from behind. A luxury car rolls up, stopping right next to him. He looks over and... no shot! It's a flashy pink Maserati! Sitting in the driver's seat is Liu Ruyan, acting all cute with her baby face. She peers through the window, playing dumb. Oh, Chenchen, what happened?
Who stole your chain? Who would do something so ridiculous and petty?
That's seriously so unethical and absolutely terrible of them. But our boy is squinting at her because he's pretty sure she's trying not to laugh.
If he doesn't watch closely, he'll miss her smirking. She continues, Chenchen, look at your ride. You can't use it like this. How about I drive you home? I'll have my secretary get your scooter fixed later. She flutters her gorgeous eyes, pretending to be super worried while he just keeps staring her down. The silence between them is loud. After a few seconds, Liu Ruyan can't hold it anymore. She suddenly giggles. He opens his eyes wider and asks what she's laughing at. Finally caught her red-handed. She stammers out some wild excuse about someone giving birth. Talk about a terrible excuse. He wanted to curse the chain thief some more, wishing their kid bad luck, but decides to let it go. Then it hits him. No wonder when they were sitting together earlier, he kept smelling a faint trace of grease on her hands. He didn't pay attention then, but now everything clicks. Trust me, having watched thousands of detective shows, he knows there is only one truth. Liu Ruyan, give me back my scooter chain. Hearing this, her face goes completely blank. She covers her mouth in shock. Could Chenchen actually be a genius detective? Her big, beautiful eyes start darting around guiltily as she tries to deny it. No way. Even you can't just go framing me like this, Chenchen. You need actual proof, you know? She really thinks she's safe saying that. But he immediately walks over to her car door. Give me your hand, Liu Ruyan. Slightly intimidated, she lets go of the wheel and hands over her soft palm. Did I do something wrong? Are you gonna smack my hand? She looks up at him with those big, teary, pouting eyes. Honestly, even if you wanted to punish her, nobody could resist this cuteness. He's not that petty. He just lifts her hand up to his nose and takes a careful sniff, proving his theory before letting go. Chenchen grabs her hand, shoves it right under her nose, and tells her to smell the engine oil for herself. Honestly, she needs to pay more attention to detail because she didn't even wash the grime off her palms. Liu Ruyan looks down, and sure enough, there is a massive pitch-black smudge she totally missed. To be fair, engine oil is a nightmare to wash off, even though her perfume almost covered the scent. But you can still smell it. Now, our wealthy female CEO is completely speechless. She quickly pulls her hands back and mutters that she literally scrubbed them with laundry detergent. After whispering to herself for a solid minute, she snaps out of it and looks up with an awkward laugh. I love how she actually thought her plan was completely foolproof. But nope, he saw right through her. She is just glad her chosen male lead is this smart. Chenchen is not having it though. He scolds her and demands she give his bike chain back immediately. Liu Ruyan tries to argue, claiming she obviously knew that. She originally just wanted to drive him home, but if she easily handed it over, then all her efforts would be in vain. Oh, look at her rubbing her hands with that cute, guilty pout. She knows she is wrong, but she just does not dare. Seeing her look so pitiful, Chenchen gets frustrated. Fine, if she is going to play that way, so be it. He decides to just walk home. By the time Liu Ruyan raises her head, and he is already far ahead. Panicking, she starts up the engine and chases after him, begging him to stop. She starts whining, apologizing over and over, saying she is truly sorry. She confesses his chain is not even broken. She just hid it in her cabinet for safekeeping. She promises it is perfectly safe, saying she will never do it again if he just looks at her. It is actually hilarious watching this rich CEO crawl along the road in a supercar, begging for forgiveness. Seeing that her apology seems genuine enough, Chenchen's anger starts to fade away. He keeps quiet, so she seizes the chance, pointing out that since his bike is broken, he might as well hop in and let her drive him home. She begs him to accept it as an apology so he does not have to walk all that way. But Chenchen holds his head high, refusing to give in that easily. So Liu Ruyan is forced to keep driving her expensive ride at a snail's pace. She literally looks like a desperate butler begging a young master to go home and inherit the family fortune. Eventually, Chenchen's legs start to ache from walking, and seeing her still trailing right beside him, while constantly whispering sweet words of apology, he finally decides he has to compromise. Fine, just this once, but she is never allowed to do this again.
He only climbs into the car after she has practically lost her voice from begging.
She lets out a massive sigh of relief, thinking that Chenchen is way harder to please than any girl. She never imagined that as a powerful CEO, she would get rejected just trying to be someone's driver.
Having to chase him down the street and beg is just wild. Talk about a complete role reversal. While buckling his seatbelt, Chenchen catches her whispering under her breath and asks what she just said.
She quickly plays it cool, and once she sees he is safely buckled in, she finally hits the gas.
Honestly, there is no denying that a hot pink Maserati is already a massive head-turner on the streets.
But with two absolute model-tier people sitting inside, they are easily turning every single head on the busy sidewalk. Soon, they pull up to his rundown apartment complex, and she carefully picks out a parking spot. He gets out of the car once she is parked, but he is left feeling a little confused. If she was just dropping him off, why did she actually park the car instead of leaving?
Chenchen tells Liu Ruyan that he is home now, so she should probably head back and stay safe.
He says his goodbyes, gives her a nervous glance, and tries to make a quick run for it. But she smoothly hops out of the sports car on her small feet and quickly catches up with him. Wait, what is Liu Ruyan even doing? She suddenly grabs Gu Chen's arm from behind. Gu Chen can tell she's up to no good, especially with that grinning baby face.
She complains that since she walked him home, he should at least invite her in for tea.
Her innocent smile is cute, but it just leaves our boy completely speechless. So he just curls up a finger and presses it against her forehead. He gives her forehead a light fleck, and she immediately starts squeezing out dramatic tears. Honestly, he barely tapped her, so her skin must be incredibly sensitive. He reminds her that she's the one who broke his electric scooter chain in the first place. And now she wants tea? He knows she just wants an excuse to hang out inside. Or worse, she is probably trying to fast-track their relationship speed. But as a certified, long-time straight guy, he is absolutely not letting that happen. She rubs her forehead, crying that mean old Chenchen is bullying her. But seeing that playful, victorious look in her eyes, Gu Chen actually starts feeling a bit guilty, wondering if he really hurt her. He almost wants to lean in and blow on it, but immediately snaps out of it. He just chuckles and asks if she really wants that tea. He tells her to wait right there while he goes up to bring some down. Liu Ruyan pouts, muttering under her breath that this is why he's still single. She finally drops the act and begs to just stay at his place for a bit. She starts whining, completely unable to help herself, and grabs onto his shoulders. She says it's only for a second, but we all know she wants him forever. He already saw right through her, smirking and telling her to keep dreaming. Liu Ruyan is not giving up and immediately cooks up a new dramatic plan. With tears in her eyes, she accuses Gu Chen of bullying a poor homeless girl. She looks absolutely miserable. But wait, what is she even talking about? Gu Chen's jaw drops, completely lost in confusion. The mischievous girl rolls her eyes and claims her house actually caught on fire. She keeps crying about how tragic it is. Seriously, can she make this any more ridiculous? Her crying is so obviously fake, so he just ignores her and keeps walking. But this stubborn girl refuses to let go of his arm. So she sighs and promises to finally tell him the real truth.
She claims her parents found out about the relationship and are absolutely furious.
Apparently, they threatened to lock her in a dark room, so she's terrified to go home. And just like that, she twists the narrative to blame everything on him.
She even stomps her feet. Like, what is this nonsense? He was just minding his business.
This is pure stray blame. And what on earth does she mean by their relationship?
There is literally nothing going on, and she is out here acting like they are dating.
He just stares at her like she's a complete dummy, utterly speechless.
Since she's so rich, he points out she could easily just rent an apartment. But hearing this, Liu Ruyan just hangs her head in disappointment. She mumbles that rental apartments have hidden cameras and are totally unsafe.
This girl is insane. Does she really think staying with him is any safer?
In fact, it is way more dangerous since he is a fully grown man after all. They finally reach the entrance of his apartment building, but she still refuses to let go, begging to move in with him. She says, "This way you won't have to be scared of my parents anymore, okay?" Then she rubs her nose right against his shoulder, like she's not scared, but he definitely is. If he actually takes advantage of a top-tier girl like her, her dad is going to show up with a knife.
Honestly, our boy Chenchen does not even want to mess with that kind of drama.
She even offers to raise his salary just to cover the rent. But he stands his ground. A hard no means no. He just wants to live a quiet, slacker life, so what is a salary raise even gonna do? They keep walking inside, with her still completely glued to his side. His apartment is up on the 4th floor, so they head straight toward the elevator. There are other people waiting to get in, but Liu Ruyan is still refusing to let it go. She begs him, "Please let me stay, Chenchen. I will be so good."
She promises to do all the laundry and cooking without causing a single bit of trouble.
But Chenchen just shakes his head, because he knows giving in once means giving in forever.
He is determined not to fall for her traps, even if he has to jump off a cliff. There is absolutely no way he's agreeing, but literally a second later, she immediately launches an even stronger charm offensive right as they step into a crowded elevator. He tries his best to stay completely still, hoping she will just give up. But then, a warm sensation on his ear makes him let out a soft, completely accidental sigh of pure enjoyment. He stammers, "Liu Ruyan, what are you doing? Stop it!"
Turning his head, he sees her eyes are closed, looking incredibly pretty. She stands on her tiptoes, parts her lips, and gently nibbles right on his ear.
No normal guy is surviving that, and our boy's legs instantly go completely jelly. Everyone else in the elevator watches this and immediately gives them some major side-eye. People are totally speechless, trying to step away from this overly affectionate couple. Getting hit with romance drama in an elevator is crazy, and even some older ladies shake their heads. They are probably thinking kids these days are built different. Finally, Liu Ruyan lets go. He is completely helpless as they finally step out of the elevator. His front door is right there, but she is still holding on tight. His knees are basically jelly, and they practically have to lean on each other to walk.
She giggles and licks her lips, asking if this means he is finally agreeing.
She stares straight at his ear, ready to bite down again if he says no. He realizes he is totally defeated here and tells her to let go first.
He needs to grab his keys, so she reluctantly lets go of his arm.
He reaches into his pocket, grabs the key, and gets ready to unlock the door. Out of the corner of his eye, he can see her watching him like a hawk. If he hesitates for even a second, she is definitely going to pounce on him again. The lock clicks, but right before opening the door, he turns around to look at her. With a playful smirk, he yells out that there is a cockroach by her foot. Hearing that, Liu Ruyan instantly panics and jumps back like a startled cat. She retreats as fast as possible, screaming about where the bug is. She is crying for help and scrambling straight into the corner of the hallway.
Seizing the perfect chance, Chenchen slips inside and shuts the door to a tiny crack.
He quickly tells her through the gap that he does not need any laundry or cooking.
He tells her to head home early and then boom, slams the door shut.
It takes her a second to realize she got played, and her face turns bright red. Bro, she got played by Gu Chen again. Pouting and furious, she stomps back to bang on his door. She cries out, "Gu Chen, you big liar! Do you not want me anymore?" So heartless! Chenchen, I was wrong. Please let me in! But she gets zero response. She probably thinks he can't hear a thing, but Gu Chen is actually leaning right against the door, listening. No response. Honestly, he is totally right not to spoil her. He just hopes she goes home to rest. She has to be exhausted. The crying outside finally fades. Complete silence. Once he hears the elevator doors open and close, he finally breathes a sigh of relief. She should be gone by now. But wait. Liu Ruyan is low-key super sensitive. What if she's just sitting out there crying? He gets more and more anxious, so he slowly reaches for the doorknob. He just wants a quick peek to make sure she left, cracking the door open slightly. No sudden ambush or sounds of her waiting. Reassured, he opens the door a bit wider. He steps out, and that is when everything outside hits him.